So hey everybody, DayTraderRockStar here again after hours here to kind of walk you through the S&P. The futures just opened up 6:31. We're up 9 points, and this is after pretty much a big reversal on the day after some work. Finally, we got that variant, the Omicron variant landed in California, and then some negative commentary coming out of some of the health officials on the virus. So we sold off most of the day. There was some opportunities though, and that's what I like to do now. I'm getting into the habit of trying to review the day's trades, especially with the futures. Even if I don't take the trades, I want to go back, I want to identify them, I want to make sure that you understand why certain things move. When I could point out, almost a perfect criteria for a setup, and then you see that move, start at that point. That's going to give you the confidence and the discipline and everything you need to take these trades next time. So this is a part of the process. It's part of the review process. If you don't do this, you're not going to gain that confidence. You're not going to understand. You're not going to understand the markets. So this is something I just want to try to keep on doing. So the market just opened up. It looks interesting right here if you put a stop under the close. But we're going to talk about the trades today. So we're going to look at this fast. And also, let me remind you, today's Wednesday. I'm going to send this out. Tonight's the last night. Today's the last day for the Cyber Monday, Black Friday sale event. It goes to December 1st. End of December 1st tonight. So, and if it's something you're interested in, contact me and Paul. If you can't do it tonight, just contact us. We'll write you down for it. But this is going to be, this is not going to last more than a day, more. So just make it your priority to let us know. And that's a lifetime. That's everything included at Day Trading Radio. Head over to DayTraderRadio.com if you're not familiar with all the things, the tradeometer, the rockbot, cool stock, everything else. So let's start going into this. Really was focused on looking for those setups that, I defined in a great video a couple of nights ago, a manifesto for making money in the markets. It really just kind of nails home when you see a divergence, you see a downward channel line, you see that we did call this divergence today. This happened about 3:30. I was a little concerned being 3:30 because I expected the market to roll over, which we did, but the divergence still pointed out it was a nice double bottom inside of a channel divergence. And what happened was the market moved outside the channel where it should go, moved up to the 50, got overbought, and then slowly turned over. So market could go both ways. Just let it, again, going into that last hour, the cross currents in the market with the imbalances, short covering, margin calls, these areas could get really tricky. So, but it did work anyway. So, want to make sure you understand this is a double bottom divergence, a high rotation on the 9-3 stochastics above 10. We'd like to see that angle between where the low is and the higher low to be above 9%, 9 degrees, excuse me, 9 degrees. So the higher the better, and it has to be over the 20 to be a real pure setup. We go back here, and I think we called this one. It was at 215. We started to see a potential divergence. It was a mathematical divergence, meaning where the low is higher than the previous low, but it was under the 20. And I always stress, that's something you have to make your criteria if you're going to keep really good setups, or do you want to get some that maybe are borderline. And lots of times divergence, they'll work out. I mean, that worked out fine, and it was a divergence. Here was another one. This was a clean one. This was a very nice one, holding above the 20, close to a 9-degree angle there. Lower low, holding up, starts to turn. You can see that dotted line underneath us. Nothing really, never coming down there, and boom, nice move up. And again, this is something I stress too. The easy part is getting in. The criteria is there. Everything is there for us to see what we need to see. But the hard part is getting out, especially in a downtrending market, because it's going to give you little pops and stuff. But how far do you want to ride it? I always say, Use that fast stochastic. Use it to get in, use it to get out, or use it to scale out. So you should always have multiple contracts. You should take your first exit in an unsettled market on a rotation here. So once it gets above that 80, you want to pretty much look to take profits. All right, you want to look to take profits, and then move your stop up to your break-even area. And if you want to let the rest, ride, you could get more. It really depends on if it's a big divergence. But right now we're scalping the downside pressure, and you're still seeing these big moves. When you have an upside market and you get a nice divergence to the upside, you could get huge moves, 20, 30, 40, 50-point moves. A couple contracts on that, you're set for you're set for the week. You don't have to worry about it. And it's going to come to you. It's going to come to you. All right, we went all the way back to 930, and you can see the market kind of sold off right at 930. We came back up, bounced, and then look, we had a 950 reversal. And this was kind of I was calling it a relative divergence earlier today. I said, you know what? It started pulling back, but if you take a look at the 60-10, it was really holding up. It never turned over. It never really turned over in this pullback. So it was showing some really good relative divergence action on that. I'm seeing DWAC here getting hit here now. DWAC here pulling back a bit. I didn't take that. I was not as comfortable with that because that's a harder one to read. It might not be close enough to the lows. Other than that, that's the setups. There was a nice setup at 820, a downward channel, perfect divergence, and this was called this one right when I sat down. This was a good, perfect divergence. Really a recognizable downward wedge pattern, a low with a low. Stochastic started rotating back up. Price started rotating back up here. Price came back down, tagged that trend line, took out the previous low, didn't even budge, basically. That's a real strong, usually a very strong divergence, and from that point on we pushed higher. And then we actually topped out here with a failed stochastic rotation, which was a sell side divergence. So I'm not saying take every single bounce and pop, but if you do take the divergences, you have a much better chance of getting those moves in the direction of your trade. So we go further into the overnight session. I haven't even looked at it. So 3 o'clock, there was a nice little channel, but I don't consider this a divergence. And that was about it. There was not much else. There was some bounces and some news flushes, and the pop back up, and the market started off really strong today. And then we gave it all back. This is where we are right now. So markets here kind of chopping around. 45.19. I want to send this video out just to kind of update you on the futures and the opportunities that we're at today. Even this little setup here, 40 to 50. That was a 10-point move out of just in 5-10 minutes. That was. Where's my thing here? I don't know where it is. Oh, shoot, I messed it up. So that was about 439, and I got up to about 55. So that's a nice move. That's on a 1 minute time frame. This is the big moves we're getting. So these divergences are working good, and they're giving a lot of gains. All right, sending this on the way. Staying live with you though. I kept it under 10 minutes tonight. 10-minute video going out. Again, I'll talk to you guys in the market here.